place them on the platform, they come to life, they say hello to you, they introduce who they are, and you're able to play as them, as well as at the same time you're able to build different environments for them to explore. And sometimes you don't even have to always have the same character in an environment that's suited for them. Give you an example. Sometimes you can even put Frozen in Rapunzel's environment. And see, that's sometimes another advantage that the characters would have. Just like with Skylanders, you're able to, when you buy the figure, sometimes you will get a disc with them. You will. You will get a disc with them. Sometimes you won't, sometimes you will. The figures that I've gotten power discs for so far have been Aladdin and Jasmine's double figure sale, which you can now get those two in, which of course you can get those two individually, but you can only get the power disc with them as a 2-set. The same like I mentioned earlier with Avengers, with Iron Man and Black Widow with a power disc at the freaking Avengers Tower. As well as you get the spaceship of Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story with the dual pack of him and Jessie as a power disc. And then of course you get the small power disc when you get the 2.0, the official 2.0 box that contains Mildred and Stitch. And you get their power disc that basically puts their environments in there as well. Again, a la Skylanders. But the difference is, and I don't know, like I said, if Skylanders has this as well, is you're able to build environments on your own. You don't always need the disc. You just need the characters, and that's it, and you can build any environment you want for them to interact with. I can tell you honestly though, and I can tell you this from experience, I've tried to build some areas. I'm probably not as good as my nephews are because they've just been creating masterpieces in my opinion. And this is almost an 8-year-old kid and a near 12-year-old kid that have been doing this. But the point is that, you know, the advantage that Infinity, like Skylanders, has over Nintendo and their Amiibos is you can actually use the figures to play as in the game. You can build the environments for them to interact with in the game. You don't just put them on, they unlock something and that's it. You can play as the actual figures. And just like Nintendo's slogan of, hey, collect, you can collect these figures as well if you don't entirely want to play Infinity. If you just want to collect them, that's all you do. But again, that's the advantage that Disney's Infinity series has over the Amiibo series of Nintendo. Just like Skylanders has that advantage as well, and probably has had that advantage and probably still have that advantage for a long time. However, there is a negative. Yeah, I know it's hard to say there's a negative with the Infinity, but there is. For one, I don't know if this has happened to a lot of people, but one of the negatives when it comes to the 2.0 game, I don't know if this happened with the original 1.0, with the original first game, or first version of it, but the 2.0 version on the Wii U sometimes freezes up. Now I don't know if maybe that's because my nephews constantly switch out characters, or pausing, or constantly pausing, or selecting different areas, taking out, like I say, switching out characters and settings and da. I don't know if that's it. But there have been several times, not many, that it has froze and they've had to reset. That's the only, I think, negative that there is it does freeze up sometimes, I think, after multiple switch outs of characters and settings and, so on. That's the only disadvantage I think there is. And it's only been a few times, like maybe two, 3 times, that's it. Most of the other time, 97% of the time, they say 97 to 98% of the time it's worked, it's fine. Because I've had to tell them that I think the reason it's doing this is because you guys are switching out and doing all this, you need to take it slow. And thankfully they've been doing that. another thing, another disadvantage as well, another negative, is the fact that unlike Nintendo, just like Skylanders, Infinity is always constantly coming up with a new version where you physically have to buy another disc or another platform. You see, the advantage Nintendo has is you don't have to buy another platform because, like I mentioned earlier, the platform is provided for you right there with the Wii U. You know, the Wii U gamepad, that is, as well as the Nintendo 3DS. You don't have to go out and buy another gamepad or another game platform. With the Infinity, as well as, like I say, with Skylanders, as popular as they are as well, the thing is, the negative that goes with the Infinity is you'd constantly have to get a new gamepad. You know, like with Elsa, when Frozen came out, you knew they were going to be bringing out Elsa and Anna figures, and that's what they did. Elsa and Anna were the figures that came out. Now Olaf has got a figure coming out with the next version of Disney Infinity called 3.0. But you knew they were coming out with figures for the first version. But again, here's the deal. That's a negative because why do you have to constantly always sell the same gaming platform or for another version of the game? Why can't you just go out and, I don't know, let people download the game, just download an update? You know, why can't you just go out and say, hey, we got an update coming up called 3.0. You don't have to change the disc. You don't have to go out and buy a disc. You don't have to go and buy another platform. The 3.0 is going to allow you to incorporate new figures that we got coming out for the Infinity. I mean, wouldn't that make more sense? To me, it would. But obviously, you know, there's a reason for it. And I think that reason mainly is the fact that, you know, it's certain figures that will only work with these new platforms. I mean, if you were to put, let's say, let's say you were to put the Donald Duck Infinity figure, which I have, on a Infinity platform that came with the original Infinity game, the first one, it wouldn't work. But what's funny and ironic is it will work with the newer one. So the question would be, is the same thing going to happen when 3.0 comes out? And I believe so. You see, the negative, in a sense, the negative, but it's in a way a positive. The negative, like I said, is the unnecessariness of having to always bring out another big game thing and bringing out another version of the platform. Because there's no real reason for it. There's no real reason for it. I mean, all you would have to do, in my honest opinion, is just update the system. That's all you do. Just say, here's the 3.0 version, download the update on your PS4, your Xbox One, your PS3, your 360, your Wii U. Download the 3.0 update as a free DLC, and now you can go out and buy the Star Wars Infinity figures, the new Marvel Infinity figures that are coming with it, the new Olaf, the new Mickey and Minnie Infinity figures. Go out and buy them, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to buy any more platforms or anything like that, because what is the point? You know what I'm saying? What is the point? It just doesn't make any sense, if you ask me. Now, I know some people might say, well, Brian, that may not have to be the case. Maybe you don't have to go out and get another platform. All you have to do is go out and get the game. Well, I don't know that. Do you? Because I specifically read on the box that the platform that you got with 2.0 will work with all your 1.0 figures that came with the first Infinity. The only disadvantage is you can't use the 2.0 figures on a 1.0 on the first platform. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the same mindset that's being put into 3.0, to where the 3.0 figures won't work on 2.0. Or you see the 2.0 platform. You kind of get what I'm saying. But still, I think that's a negative because it's unnecessary when all you have to do is just download, have an update, a patch ready to go for people to download so that they don't have to go out and buy another one of these things. Because it's going to get confusing. It's going to get confusing because people are going to be like, well, why do I have this when I have this? Now I know what you're saying. Well, that means people can actually go and use it maybe for the PS4. Yeah, what? Go out and buy the Disney Infinity game for 2.0 for PS4 and that's it? It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. So hopefully Disney is realizing this as we get closer to the release in November and December of 3.0, and hopefully hopefully Disney and Disney Studios and Avalanche is realizing this, and hopefully they're gonna come up with a solution to where not only would you have to go and buy, if you don't have an Infinity set, not only would you have to go and buy it, but give you the option that if you already have one, that all you have to do is just buy the game, the physical game, and the figures, and that's it. You don't have to get the other platform. Hopefully they will wise up and say, hey, let's just give them a downloadable update, and all they have to do is just get the game. That's it. Hopefully they'll come up with something like that, but right now it looks like we're going to be going in the same direction we did with 2.0, and that's the fact of you got to go out, get another box with another Infinity platform contained inside, with 2 Star Wars figures and a power disc, and there you go. But again, hopefully there might be an alternative to where you'll possibly also be able to download a 3.0 patch or update, so you don't have to go out and do that. But we'll just have to wait and see. But again, as much as that's a negative, it is somewhat of a positive, because when that happens, yeah, it does make your other power platform obsolete and maybe unnecessary unless you want to go back to the 2.0 game because you still have interest in it. The advantage that the 3.0 system would have, just like 2.0 did, the positive that kind of counters the negative, is you're able to take your figures and place them on the platform so that they can interact with the new figures as well. Like, let's say you take Elsa here, and I'm hoping and I believe they're going to do this, and they're going to incorporate it just like they did with 2.0, that you're going to take Elsa here, place her on the 3.0 platform, and let's say at the same time you'll take Minnie and put her figure right next to her, and you can have them interact with each other, maybe fight each other or whatever, but have them both interact at the same time. So that would be really interesting in itself. But again, that's sort of the positive that counters the negative there for the Infinity. But again, the main positive for both is, one, for the Infinity, is just like Skylanders, you're able to take a figure, place it on the power pad or power platform that you have, and you're able to play as that figure, and you're able to, play in different environments or build an environment for that character to interact with. The positive with Amiibos is you don't need a power platform because it's already been provided to you via the 3DS and the Wii U gamepad, and all you have to do is just place your Amiibo on one of them, and on either one of them, and there you go. You'll be able to unlock different power-ups, clothing items, maybe music, stuff like that. But those are the big positives on both ends of the spectrum. Again, the negatives, like I said, for Infinity, is the unnecessariness of always releasing another version physically instead of just saying, hey, let's do a 3.0 update as a free DLC, so people don't have to do that, and they don't have to go out and buy another power pad or another power platform, and they could just use the same one they have, and oh, by the way, they don't have to go and buy oh, by the way, all they have to do is probably buy the game disc, and that's it, maybe along with some of the figures. And like I said, that's the negative. Again, the positive that counters it is that you're able to incorporate the newer figures and have them interact with your older figures on that new power pad. That's the only positive that counters that negative. The negative, though, with the Amiibos is you can't really like I mentioned, you can only do so much as far as unlockables are concerned, and there are certain games that you cannot use them in that you should be able to use them in if they're supposedly supposed to be playable for all systems that are Amiibo certified, if you get my drift. So those to me are the only positives. So those to me are the positives and the negatives, the cons and the pros, if you will, when looking at both the Disney Infinity line franchise and the Nintendo Amiibo franchise. Those are like I said, the positives and the negatives, as well as the cons and pros. So let me know what you guys think down below. Sorry this was a multiple parts, this video and on this topic. Let me know what you guys think down below, though. Comment if you like, and I will talk to y'all later. And Irate Gamer, I would love to hear your response to this in a video. Take care. God bless.